So a lot of people recommend you using Rstudio. What I'm going to tell you today is that you probably know that, but Rstudio is a corporation, or it's part of a corporation. And although it's free, it's something free as in some Microsoft products, some Google products. It's never free. There's always some catch. So if you see here, we talk about share stakeholders. They show here some companies that work with Rstudio, or that use Rstudio. And see here that they have customers, a lot of universities, major universities, a lot of corporations. So they have some interests related to the product, and if you really want to be free of those things, you should not use Rstudio for working with R, and you should not use other interfaces to use with Python or with Julia or whatever you want to use. So what is the solution? If you're using Linux, you can use R from the terminal. I'm going to show you how to use R from the terminal. So I have two windows here. So one of the windows here I'm going to use to write my code, and the other window here I'm going to use to compile the code. So if you want to compile the code, all you're going to need, if you have R installed on your system, is to type R script and the name of your script, or the name of the file where you have your script. So I'm going to create an R example here with Vim. I'm using Vim, but you can use the same thing. You can do the same thing using the text editor. So I can use call gedit here, and you can write your code here and save it as an R file, and you can do the same thing that I'm doing right now. So this window here, I'm going to have my R code. So I'm just going to create two sequences of number. X is going to be a sequence of numbers from 1 to 100 by 1. Y is going to be a sequence of numbers from 1 to 100 by 1. So let's ask to print X and Y here. So this is the code here. It's saved as rexample.r. I'm going to go to another window here. Both windows are open in the same folder. So you're not seeing here because I've hidden the path here, but both are on the same window. So I'm going to do R script R example.r, and here are the two sequences of numbers. So you can do any statistics that you want here from this, using this as your programming interface. So Vim is really nice. You can do this in Emacs or in the text editor. There's a lot of options other than Rstudio. So I'm gonna ask for the mean here, the average of X, for example. Do the same thing. I'm gonna go to another window and run my script. There it is. Here is the average of the value. One of the problems with R from the command line is that you might want to do a plot. So for example, plot of XY, an XY plot. If you call the plot directly from the script, you see that nothing happens. This is because if you're using Linux, or if you're using another program from the terminal, you need to call a graphical interface. So what I'm going to do here in my system is that I'm going to call the X11 graphical interface. You're going to see that the plot briefly appears and then quickly disappears. To solve this issue, I'm going to put a simple line of code here so that the plot will stay in the window while I don't do anything with my mouse, or I don't close it manually. List sys. So this is going to prevent the window from closing, the graphical window from closing. So let's run here. running my script. So this is your, so you can use this as a really nice programming interface to run your scripts, to run your files, and you won't need corporations or some RStudio or Anaconda or any corporation stuff that is usually a lot of bloat in your system. You can have your Linux system with just with Vim and installing R, or you can do the same thing with Python and other programming languages. It's pretty clean, pretty simple, and pretty nice without corporations.